them out of my country. Send them home. This transcends race. This transcends income. I want my country back. I don't want America to become Honduras. Adios. I want my culture back. And this is not a fringe belief.
Oh, I'm sorry. what what is your culture, Charlie? Can you explain what it is? Like what does your culture consist of? Uh, Dancing off beat on seas of food, like square dancing, like what? Can you somebody please explain? And how would your culture, I'm sorry, exist without people of color? Just explain it to me and do it in another video. Okay, bye.
To essentially help other people of color. You get sued. Some people may not appreciate that this case is about them. Some people may just see this lawsuit as a Black woman giving money to other Black people, and doesn't really affect me. And I've heard that sentiment before. What's your answer to someone who says, this is really not about me? I'm not in venture capitalism. I'm not asking for money for businesses. Why would this be important to me?
It is definitely important to you. Right now, we are clearly caught up in somebody's political agenda, right? I think everybody is aware of Project 2025 now. To break this down, there is a huge anti-American campaign going on. There are people who are pursuing the reversal of rights in this country, whether it's women's rights, whether it's gay rights, whether it's voting rights. There are people pursuing this. This right here is about the right to fund marginalized communities if and when racial disparities exist. This is definitely about you. Small businesses make up over 50% of the US economy. Small businesses need funding. These are the dollars that are then going back in your community. These are the dollars that are used for job creation. At the Fearless Fund, we have created thousands of jobs just by what we do. So imagine not just us, but all these funds out here that are creating jobs that many of you in the audience have today. There is a domino effect. This is definitely about you. This is about you, your rights, your household, and your economic freedom.
To the National Newspaper Publicists Association's Let It Be Known, and lots of news to talk about, of course, and the sports world has our attention, and because the sports world has our attention, we got someone who keeps our attention on a regular basis. Y'all know him, the one and only Power 96, all the way from the swamps of Louisiana. What's going on?
Well, good evening and good afternoon and good morning. All roll into one, baby. Long weekend, but we ready to go.
Now, wait a minute. So the Essence Festival was down there. Did you go?
Yeah, I went all 3 days.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. So what was your general impression of the Essence Festival, and what was your takeaway?
If you're a single man between the ages of 21 and 50, you crazy if you're not at Essence Festival. That's number one. It was some beautiful ladies down there. Outside of the beautiful ladies, you had a forum for just about every and anything. I'm talking from your hair to your mental health to economics. They had it all. I ain't just talking about the concerts. That's going to be there. But I really wish and hope a lot more younger people start coming to Essence. And what I mean by that, I seen a few, I guess, mother, daughter, and granddaughters there. I need to see more young men at Essence. If that makes, I know it's centered around female, but if you get to see this and see how those women actually conduct themselves in them forums, and word on the street is, I don't know how true it is, but the Redbone was down here yesterday. If I find
that is
out,
true.
oh man, see her? Somebody told me they seen her. But if you see how them women talk, when they strictly business. And of course, the VP showed up, but I was having a crawfish ball when she showed up. So
okay,
I just really wish more young folks would come. The women,
yeah,
I think the average age had to be about 35 to about 40. but it was good. I mean, there was not one thing that I didn't sit on that I did not learn from. And I'm talking
Okay.
everything. And they really expressed the vote. And that's what I really like about Essence. But you don't have to worry about the black women voting. It's the black men, not all of us. It's that small 10% that's getting all the headway. Now, I'm pretty sure it was, maybe a couple of thousand men there. Most of them was with their wives and girlfriends. I guarantee you, out of that 1,000 or so that was there or more, you might have had less than 100. That was, I don't even think 100. That's too much. I say probably 20 that would have actually voted for Donald Trump. But the media will take that and says, look, see, black men will vote for Trump. But you got thousands of us that saying, no, we're not. So,
Right.
but Essence was real great. I highly recommend folks to come there and enjoy yourself. I mean, the food and the drinks and the concerts, that's natural. But to get your mind focused, economic-wise, and Essence is the place. You know, I see you showing, there is Mark Mariel. That's my man now.
Mark Mariel, yeah, Urban League president,
Urban
CEO.
League. The Urban League will be down here at the end of the month, from the 24th to the 27th. And I'm challenging people, come on down here, man. Mark, if it wasn't for Mark Mariel, New Orleans, crazy as it is, would not be New Orleans. We were done in the 90s. We had the drug trade, a corrupt police department. We had 424 homicides. This man came in, and guess what he used? The 94 crime bill to straighten New Orleans out. Imagine that. 424 homicides.
So Power 96. So the takeaway really is, I mean, and I like the way you laid it out. Yeah, you certainly, when you got that many black women getting together, it's gonna be some beautiful people, as you can see. But you got the concerts, you got the food, but the panels, the different topics, the educational things that we need. You mentioned the financial aspect, the financial literacy, things of that nature is what we have long needed. In Essence, is providing that each year. It's not just this year, right?
No, every year, 30 years strong. They've been putting on stuff like this, and it only gets better. I mean, the who's. I mean, any A-list, whatever you call A-list celebrity or whatever, they were there. I mean, Angela Rye, Tiffany, what's her name? Both Tiffany's was there. All those people was there, and they're very approachable. And if you want a picture or talk to them, they're very open. And when they on these platforms, and you're in those rooms, in Essence, you really get to see the real side of these people. And that's what I like the most about it. I'm like, okay, because on the internet, oh, you bougie lady. But, when they in person, it's, Miss Jackson was there. She showed out. I mean, I still don't believe that woman is 60 or whatever. There's no way. It's no way that woman, I was like, huh? But I mean, now, if we want to talk about music, the best performance, was my friend, Mr. Charlie, Uncle Charlie. For that man to be that age and can dance for 45 minutes, changing clothes and not taking a break, you got to give it up to him, man. So so
absolutely.
It was a great experience. Like, I try not to miss Essence, So every chance I get, and I always invite people to come. But Essence runs with my family reunion also. And I go there during the daytime.
I saw those photos, some of the photos from your family reunion. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was that your family? No, I'm thinking somebody else's family reunion. Memphis Jokes had a family reunion as well.
My family reunion was in Mississippi this year. We have it every year.
I saw a photo. Memphis Jokes. His family had a reunion. I saw his family photos. It wasn't you. But you guys kind of remind me of each other. Anyway.
Salute to Memphis Joke.
Yes, Memphis Jokes, the man.
But the getting back to Essence, man, if you can come, or if somebody wants to come or whatever, it's I'm gonna tell you right now, it's hot. It's not like warm. It's not it's hot. But you inside the convention center, and the concerts across the street to the Superdome. At the Superdome, so it's not like you got to be outside in an event all day. You know what I'm saying? So, but I got to give it to those ladies. I mean, I'm jealous of them, because I'm like, we do have black male summits, but not like Essence. So,
Not
and I'm
like
not
that.
talking about the
Yeah.
entertainment value. I'm talking about the educational value. Because
Absolutely.
every one of
Absolutely.
those rooms, when they had a forum, those rooms was full. So I
Wow.
got to give it up
Well,
to them.
here's something that you and other folks down in Louisiana, particularly in the New Orleans area, can certainly relate to. Hurricane Beryl made landfall on the Gulf Coast of Texas. The National Hurricane Center had warned about it, and it hit near the coastal towns. Well, I should say, it hit near several coastal towns, and in some cases, just outside of Houston. It was packing sustained winds of about 80 miles per hour. They called it life-threatening storm surges with damaging wind gusts. Lots and lots of power outages. Lives have been lost. At least 11 people in the past week have lost their lives. More than 2.5 million customers without power. Um, it's like I said, you guys went through this. You've had your share of this. We know. Walk us through a little bit when something like this happens. For those who may not have ever experienced a storm of this magnitude, a hurricane, or whatever of this magnitude, what is it that you look for, Power 96, in a storm like this?
All right, the first thing I got to say this hurricane is one of the stronger ones or bigger ones that's come this early in the Gulf. Usually our hurricanes don't start coming around until August, September time frame. But the first
Right.
thing is, if you living in these coastal areas and low-lying areas, and if you got enough opportunity to get out, the best thing to do is to get out. Because what happens during a hurricane, the first thing to go is your power. So that means you're in the summertime, so your food and water, your essentials that you need, if you decide to stay, most likely gonna be hot or spoiled. And then after that, the trees that spin off from the tornadoes. Those tornadoes is what really does the damage, that wind. So you might have a wind gust 75, 80 miles an hour, and you think, oh, that ain't that bad. But a lot of these trees and stuff, our infrastructure is so horrible down here. So it don't take too much to topple that stuff. So if you can't get
Right.
out, the best thing for you to do is you got to hunker down, but you got to have all your, I'm talking from batteries, flashlight. If you're on an oxygen tank, our health system is horrible down here. We have a lot of people that need oxygen tanks. You have to need medication and stuff like that. So you got to have a plan. What we used to do, if we knew a hurricane was coming, or we thought one was coming, 5 days out,
Right.
either we staying or we going. If we decide to stay, now my father, he never left. Now my mother, she would pack us up and we gone. But if we decide to stay, you would have to have, number one, some type of radio with batteries that you can use, because you got to stay informed. Because you will be sitting in your house on a flooded street over the power lines down or your trees down, and nobody's know you in there. See what I'm saying? So you got to
Isn't that
prepare
too?
yourself.
Isn't that makes it more, the danger is added to with all the water and then the power lines? I mean, talk about that a little bit if you can.
The power lines. You got to remember, when a hurricane, the power is never cut off. They never cut the power off. The wind usually, or a tree falls on a power line or a telephone pole, as we call them, and it will snap it. And some of them lines are still live. So you can walk
Right.
outside and you can actually see like the electricity, the current going through the water. It's like a blue spark. So when stuff like that happens, that's why I say you got to hunker down. You can't go anywhere. And if you have to go outside for some crazy reason, you're risking a chance of 911 not being able to come save you. Usually they will tell you at this time, we're not sending anybody out there because it's dangerous for them just as it's dangerous for yourself.
Yeah.
So you got to really, really take your time. Now, a category 1, but these storms are different. And when I was looking at this, I'm like, yeah, this is a Cat 1, because Cat 1 75, 80. Cat 1, we usually take our shoes off, but not this thing. You got this thing still spinning 100 miles from the coast. That's a long way for a storm to keep that circular formation. And and the thunderstorms are still coming, tornadoes are still coming, and the flooding. Which, if you look lately, And that's why I tell people, you better believe in climate change. We've been doing some flooding down here. I mean,
Yeah.
and we know the flood, but it's getting worse now. I mean, during Essence, it was a good downpour, and they had to send the crews out there to get them streets unflooded. And then that was only like about an hour of rain. So I can only imagine what them coastal towns are going through. You know, New Orleans, where I live at, is what, 6 feet below sea below sea level? Yeah, I think it's 6 feet. And then there's some places that are 8 feet below. I think the lower 9 may be 8. Don't quote me on those numbers, but I know we below sea level. So, but
it's along those lines, right?
Yeah, it's along those lines. Yeah, it's tricky, you know. And that coast. Have you ever been down to Houston, to Galveston, and stuff like that? When that storm surge comes in, that's the most dangerous part of the hurricane. That's the initial wave comes in, and I think Katrina, you know, of course, the worst. In some places in Mississippi, in Katrina, it was 26 feet, a storm surge that came and crashed in. You know, I think I don't know what New Orleans was. I was overseas and stationed in Germany, watching that one. But I've been going through hurricanes since I was born in '74. My first one was Hurricane Frederick in '77. So 3 years of age was my first hurricane. So
wow, okay. So we've been talking, of course, the big conversation about the president, and President Biden is counting on. We know he's counting on the black vote, but right now, more immediately, he's counting on an important political firewall to help him stave off Democratic defections and save his reelection campaign, and that is the Congressional Black Caucus.
Clearly, this president is fit to serve. He has been fighting for the American people. I know more than 14 million Americans have already voted for him, including those in my state of Nevada. We need to honor and respect the will of the voters.
Do you think that President Biden should take a neurological exam, if only to address these concerns, not just of members on Capitol Hill or donors, but concerns that actual voters have?
Well, again, I've not actually heard that concern from voters. What I've heard is their concern about the affordability of housing and the fact that corporate landlords are buying up 30%.
I apologize, Congressman. Just to be clear, what I'm referring to is there's a lot of polling out there. The recent one after the debate showing more than 70% of voters think that President Biden is not demonstrating the capacity to be president. 56% of Democrats say that they would be better off with another nominee. Those are the concerns that I'm talking about that are showing up in the numbers and that are affecting his approval rating.
What I find interesting is the issue is more around ageism and ableism and not what this President Biden, has done. His age didn't keep him from lifting 50% of children out of poverty. His age did not prevent him from passing a bipartisan infrastructure law. His age didn't prevent him from passing the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act in order to keep our communities safe from gun violence. It is his experience and his civility, because he actually cares about the American people, while Donald Trump only cares about himself.
On Monday, after a wave of congressional Democrats jumped ship, as it were, CBC Chair Stephen Horsford reaffirmed his support for Biden in the wake of that debate performance against Donald Trump, really against CNN. And Maxine Waters.
We're now at a point in time where people are talking about Biden is too old. Hell, I'm older than Biden.
You look good, Congresswoman.
And I get up every morning.
All right.
And I exercise.
All right.
And I work late hours.
All right.
I take care of black people.
All right.
Trump has told you who he is. He defined himself. He is a no good, deplorable, lying, despicable human being.
So the CBC, Hakeem Jeffries, they've stood up in one voice, Power 96, the importance of the CBC making this stand I don't know that we can overstate the importance of it.
Well, the CBC did what mainstream media failed to do. And what I mean by that, I'm not saying mainstream media has to be on board with Joe Biden, but they stood up and said, hey, look, this is our candidate. We're riding with it. All you ever see, and I've said this before, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN, their first 8 minutes is tearing Joe Biden down. Not the guy that's the 34-time convicted felon, been convicted of sexual assault, liable for being a sexual assault. You don't hear anything about that. I think the CBC, now this is just my opinion, I'd get all of them on the Capitol, right in front of Capitol Hill. Everybody that's with Joe Biden, let's get out here and do a press conference. You got 10 Democrats right now jumping ship. Okay, 10 out of 200. I got that. But that 10 is who the news wants to talk to. They don't want to talk to the 200. And that's why I told, a lot of news people this past weekend, y'all ain't looking for people like me that's voting for Joe Biden. Y'all looking for people that's voting for Donald Trump because of a mugshot, a felony conviction, and some gold tennis shoes or whatever. But the CBC did right, in my opinion. One of the few times I will agree with. Because I was kind of like, okay, now where's this man's support? Because you think about it, for the last, 8 days, 9 days, it's been nothing but this man needs to step down, this man needs to step down. And I'm like, who are you going to get with 130-some days left to the election? I mean, it makes no sense. But I understand media sales and negativity sales. You want ratings, just talk about somebody. But you won't talk about the guy who thinks he's running against Barack Obama. Donald Trump has said several times he's been running against Obama. Several times.
Yes.
And nobody says that. Now, the cognitive tests and all that stuff. Hell, don't give me one of them either. I may not pass that thing, but I ain't running for president. But, I think that, some folks, man, need to really chill out. Really chill out. I'm like, because on the street level.
So let me tell you something.
Where I'm at, I do not see this surge of black men voting for Trump.
So Power 96, you talked about those cognitive tests. So a breaking report just came out that so this is what mainstream media is doing as well. They've been checking the White House visitors logs. They obviously put in a public information request, and the New York Times got that back, the logs back, and it showed that a doctor who specializes in Parkinson's disease has been visiting the White House pretty much every month for the past 8 to 10 months at least. And now it does not indicate that his visits were for the president. The president does have his private doctor, and one or two of those visits he did consult with the president's doctor, but these other visits included the doctor taking his family on a tour of the White House, and him visiting other parts of the White House, other interests at the White House. But the headline in the New York Times is painting the picture that the White House, and they said in their article, the White House has not been honest. They claim that this doctor came out back in February and that was it. But the White House has said that they never said he only came out in February. In fact, they don't keep tabs on such things when someone visits the White House. It's not in their purview to just keep, okay, what is he here for? Why is he here? He's here. He's been cleared to be here. You go to the White House, you get cleared to go in, and you go in. And CNN is upplaying the fact that this man's profession, he's an expert in Parkinson's, but there has been nothing to indicate that the president is suffering from such a disease.
Stacey, anything with CNN now, it has zero credibility with me. After that debacle at the debate, 800 media credentials, not one to the black press. I don't believe anything CNN says. I don't care who they put on there. What I tell you about that Gayle King and Charles Barkley, I said that's not gonna last one season. I don't put too much
Right.
stock in CNN, but just say this man was seeing a doctor once a month. I'm glad he can see a doctor once a month. You know how many people wish and pray that they can go see a doctor once a month? What, because of the high cost of medical bills? Think about
Right.
that. So I don't know what's going on with the visitor logs, but I know the New York Times is jealous because they didn't get their interview, and they're gonna run him to the ground. They're gonna run it to the ground. So CNN, New York Times,
And we focus so much.
MSNBC is just as
Yeah,
bad.
we focus so much. I shouldn't say we, but the mainstream media focuses so much, has been focused so much on Biden's age, and this idea that okay, the debate was horrible. Is something wrong with him? If somebody has a bad day, does that mean that they have Parkinson's? Does that mean they have dementia? I mean, you had a bad day, and this is what he continues to say. He had a bad day. We also know that the campaign.
To me,
I like in part what Michael Moore,
To
the
me-
director, said. He said, they all should be fired. They ran him into the ground. This 81-year-old man. He says they ran, and it's pretty much what I said. You couldn't let the man rest before the debate, knowing that what he was going up against. You couldn't let him rest. Somebody should answer for that. And I don't think President Biden is the one to answer for that. Although, of course, he is front and center. He's the boss. He's taking the hit.
Whoever agreed to that debate term should answer to this, because it's hard to debate a liar in the first place. But when you let a liar goes unchecked, what can you really say? When this man sit there and lied and said he offered 5,000 National Guard to Nancy Pelosi. I mean, I'm looking like, really, bro? I mean, and nobody said nothing. And
I think if we
it's
look
so-
at it objectively, on Power 96, if you look at it objectively, and yes, Biden was not good at that debate, but if you look at it objectively, that is exactly what I felt initially what was going on anyway, that the president was just so incredulous, taken aback by the persistent lies that were going unchecked, that at times he didn't know what to say.
That's how I felt. Like, I'm like, bro, how can you sit there? I'm looking at the moderators. They just sit looking like, yeah, okay. You know this is not true. Come on, man. And I just really think that the next debate is on Fox, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That is correct. I'm not even sure why they agreed to any debates in the first place. My thought before they agreed to this debate, the first debate, was why debate him? Why even engage? He wouldn't engage his own party in debates.
And that's what I said.
Why give him that platform?
That's what I said. I said no. It would be. These networks are so rating hungry, and I think they said it's like 50-something million people watched the debate supposedly, and still, you didn't get enough viewership. Now you got to tear this man down. Ever since the debate happened, the 24-hour news cycle is just not even worth watching. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm good. Because, hey, my mind is made up. I don't have a fifth cousin that's going to vote for Donald Trump. I can go all the way back from cousin 1 to cousin 5. So we good at our household. But, you keep hearing this stuff enough. I'm like, man, I'm like, you beating a dead horse. The weekend, Saturday morning, I was out walking the dogs. I always listen to MSNBC on Saturday morning. They just ran this man to the ground about him stepping down. And out of all people on that show, Michael Steele stood up. And like the Democrats
the Republicans
stand behind Joe Biden. And I was like, Michael Steele saying this? While the other ladies that are known Democrats was like, oh, and I'm like, y'all need to go on somewhere with this crap. But that was hard to see. I'm like, if Michael Steele, but see, I think Michael Steele knows how bad and horrible Donald Trump is. Because he was chair of the Republican Party. I think he knows what's really about to go on if that man get back in office. You got the Supreme Court. So everything I do now is an official presidential act. So,
Everything.
hey, if I want to bring back segregation, it's a presidential act. So I'm immune from any type of prosecution. So, I've said it before. The Supreme Court, and this is summer '64, Freedom Summer, the Civil Rights Act. All that good stuff was happening in '64. Now, in 2024, this Supreme Court gave us a king. Can you imagine this United States Supreme Court in the 1960s, in the 70s, when Nixon? You remember Nixon first said, if the president do it, it's not illegal. Nixon said that.
Right.
And that Supreme Court wasn't having it. But now, everything that this man does illegal, it's, hey, be careful what you ask for. I ain't running, I ain't going nowhere. But look, my budget only go from New Orleans to Atlanta, so I ain't going nowhere. So they got to come on in here and take me. So.
Well, listen, Power 96, while we got you, we got to talk some sports. Got a few items on the table. Mark Jackson has been around the game for much of his life. He was an all-star caliber point guard during his time as a player. He helped develop the one and only Steph Curry early in his career with Golden State. And really, they won those championships because Mark Jackson put that together. And now, and he couldn't get a job as a head coach afterwards, which is stunning. And he was fired as a color commentator at ESPN. But now Cameron has agreed to a deal to bring him on his podcast. It's really interesting that Cameron made this. It's a power move, if you ask me.
Big time, yes. I was shocked to see Mark actually agree to that because of Mark. Mark Jackson, he going to church every Sunday morning. I'm not,
yes.
Yeah, and Mark Jackson, New Yorker, point guard. When you think of the great New York point guards, he's up there with Kenny Anderson,
Rod Strickland,
and the rest of these guys. And the list is so long, and I don't want to keep naming folks, and somebody be like, "Oh, you ain't include so and so." No, but he's one of the great New York point guards. Mark Jackson, and you stated correctly, he put that Golden State Warrior team together. Steve Kerr, in his heart, he was not coaching that team. Them guys was out there doing what they wanted to do. Because Mark
Jackson deserved the ring.
Yeah, and see, I don't understand. You will get somebody like Mark Jackson because of his strong beliefs or whatever, and get him out of the league. But Doc Rivers then coached everybody. I mean everybody, and from the Celtics to this team to that team, the Philadelphia, he goes everywhere. I'm like, damn, Doc got a job, but Mark Jackson can't get a job. And ESPN, oh my man, when the NBA Finals this year, I don't know how much y'all watched of it. I turned my volume down. I have no problem with Doris Burke or whatever, but come on now. That was a horrible day together. I'm so used to Mark Jackson, Mama, there go that man, him and Van Gundy going at it. Why they call it a good game? But Cameron, when I first heard the story, he tried to give him $500,000 at first. Mark said he ain't touching that bag. It's a business side behind Mark also, and Cameron, because I think it's I'm not counting their pockets, but it's like $250,000 or whatever. But what you about to get is from not only a player and a coach, but Mark's Hall of Fame. You about to get some real. This ain't one of these guys, and I'm not knocking them other clowns that be doing that podcast, Steven Jackson, them or whatever. But you ain't gonna get no quality better than Mark Jackson when it comes to telling it like it is. This man know where the skeletons are buried. He know who's in the closet, who's out of the closet. He knows everything. So ESPN, I think they did themselves a disservice. But you won't get rid of, and somebody sent me a thing today. It's trouble over there in Stephen A. Smith land. They say the staff is not happy. I said, what? They said, man.
And listen.
I have said this all season, BC. My rookie of the year is going to go based on the standings.
Okay.
Because I think that is how you have the opportunity to measure impact.
And the sky's right above
And
them.
the Sky right now are in the playoffs, so you'd have to give the nod in my mind to Angel Reese. Look, the double-double streak that she's rocking and rolling, chasing down 12 double-doubles to start is the record that spanned over 2 seasons. She's already gotten to 11. I think when you sit back and you look at what's around her, head coach Teresa Weatherspoon in her first year, there's not another #1 draft pick on that roster currently. There's not another all-star on that roster currently from years past. Indiana.
Once and for all, folks, Stephen A. Smith does not, cannot, and will never be able to speak on behalf of Black America. Let's just put that to bed with that one sentence there. And speaking of ESPN, Monica McNutt, she actually drew some blowback for her explanation as to why Angel Reese is her WNBA Rookie of the Year pick over Caitlin Clark. She says my Rookie of the Year is going to go based off the standings because I think that is how you have to measure impact. And the Sky right now are in the playoffs, so you have to give the nod, in my mind, to Angel Reese. And of course, that double-double streak it's just amazing that she's been able to keep that going. And the fact is, let's not play games here. Who has had the greater impact on the court?
Stacey, not only does she have 13 consecutive double-doubles, she broke Candace Parker's single-season record. And Candace Parker was not a rookie when she had those 13 double-doubles.
Right.
So this young woman unfairly has taken the criticism from a lot of Black men. It's killing me. Oh, she ain't that good. She ain't that. She missing her shot selection is horrible. I'm like, bruh, I don't think y'all watched WNBA basketball before. You haven't watched women basketball where you can tell. I watched Caitlin Clark get a triple-double. That woman she shot something like 3 for 10. But this is y'all queen, shooting 3 for 10 and getting the triple-double. Not saying that the girl is not worthy of Rookie of the Year, but when you can have somebody to set a record of 13 double-doubles and the season ain't over with, what else? I mean, now if Caitlin Clark was averaging a triple-double, or say if she had 6 or 7 triple-doubles, it would be a better conversation instead of you saying just because Caitlin Clark is Caitlin Clark, she deserves Rookie of the Year. Now, I told you before, I know who the press gonna give it to, but that's wrong. You know that's wrong. So, like I said, you can be average and be a little corn-fed girl from Iowa and do everything. Now, Angel Reese has to work 10 times harder. A double-double is not that easy to get. Even if she had 10 points and 10 rebounds. But, lately her double-double's been 17 points, 16 points, 10, 12, 13 rebounds. That is amazing. That goes to show you how hard this young woman is training. So,
someone tried to criticize her. Pound 96. Someone tried to criticize her by saying in one of those games or a couple of those games, she got those rebounds off her own misses. And so my counter to that, even if that were true, the fact that that means she's doing something that NBA players don't do, which is follow your shot. You remember as a kid growing up, they follow your shot, follow your shot. Players today, they shoot and they pose. They shoot and pose.
They shoot, look at it, and run back down the court or jog back down the court. It's you got to go back to like Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, those big men down there. And yes, I'm comparing her because you remember Wilt and them used to miss and get those rebounds and then put it back up in the goal. So now you got points and you got a rebound. And I'm not saying she's missing on purpose. I think she's down there battling down there, and she's so talented. And she's so talented, it's hard to get an offensive rebound. She leads the league in offensive rebound, if I'm not mistaken. You're correct. The hate that Angel Reese deserves is unwarranted. It's unprecedented, in my opinion. I said,
the hate comes
the men are doing it. It ain't so much the women; it's the men. And I'm like, I don't get. I'm like, you're a grown man.
Yeah, and as you said at the top, black men, and that's
Yeah,
the thing that really kills me. Is
yeah.
you see even Robert Griffin III chimed in, and he's saying how great Caitlyn is and how much better she is over Angel. What are you watching, Robert? You couldn't manage a Redskin team that I mean, and now you want to talk about. I mean, give me a break.
And you know that's pretty
This
bad when
is
the
another
Redskins take
clown,
anybody.
another clown.
Yeah, another clown.
It's
But
amazing.
I think those guys are really afraid of ESPN or Fox Sports, whoever they work for. I really believe that they are afraid to sit there and say that Angel Reese overall is a better player and she has helped her team way better than Caitlin Clark has. They are afraid to say that. You can look at when Angel Reese broke the record. They actually gave her a headline this time, but the next article, Caitlin Clark triple double. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
you cannot give this woman any credit for just this record. I mean, something that I guarantee you, and I'll put money on this. In the next 20 years, there's no rookie gonna come in there and have 13 double doubles in a row. No way. And they know that. So that's why I be on those guys, and I'm like, nah, bro, no, man. And my buddy Stephen A. I had to give a piece of my mind again. Why you worried about the BET Awards and OJ Simpson? Why? Why? Your name ain't Ron Goldman or Fred Goldman or whoever. Why you worried? To sit there and say OJ didn't
Well, and
give a
as
damn
was pointed
about
out,
black people.
as
You
been
don't
pointed
care
out,
about black people.
he has
Yeah.
not.
I'm like,
He
you
has
don't care
not
about black
objected
people.
to. Right. He has not objected to the Oscars, giving Roman Polanski an honorary Oscar. He has not objected to Harvey Weinstein. He has not said anything about him giving back his Oscars. He has not said anything when it comes to certain people. Read white folks. Stephen A. stays in his lane, right? Unless
And
he's unless he's putting undue praise on them.
Mhm.
He
I
has
think
to
I believe he thought,
praise white guys.
and see, he thought OJ Simpson was going to be an easy target. And
Yeah, of course.
what he didn't realize, all we ever said was, it was never about OJ. It was about a black man beating the system. Always been about that. Now, if you have personal beef with OJ Simpson, you should have had him on your show. Because he's been on camera on OJ Simpson been on camera on show several times. I'm like,
did.
bruh. Yeah, he was on there several times, and I thought,
I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. We talked about that early this year. It was the anniversary of that whole situation, but and of course when he died, but we talked about that, the fact that not guilty, that cheering for not guilty was not about OJ Simpson.
mm-hmm.
That was about what you said. It was about finally a black man was able to beat this system. That's all it was about.
Yeah.
It was never about OJ.
We never about him. We just in Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge Parish, about an hour from here. You just had a white guy kill a homeless, unarmed black man. They gave that white guy 18 months for committing murder. I better not look wrong and hit you with a baseball bat and not kill you. I'm going to get 3 times the amount of that sentence. So I don't think Stephen A. understands what he's talking about when he said he didn't do anything for black people. And I'm looking like, bruh, just about every black male athlete, they look at you sideways. They may not display it like a lot of them do, like Kyrie Irving does, but a lot of them look at him sideways. And that's why.
Here's the guy that called the league office to try and get a black man suspended.
Yeah. See, you know what I mean? A snitch. That's what he is. I'm like, dude, come on, man. So I don't understand that. I was like, this is odd. I'm like, you worried about the BT Wars putting OJ in memorial because he passed away from cancer because of his football. They didn't say we putting OJ in memorial because he cut them folks to the white meat. No, I'm like, no, brother. I'm like, so I don't get what he was so angry about. I'm like, man, come on, man, you know.
Right.
But I'm telling you, something going on with First Take. I don't know if it's how true it is, but the staff said they don't want to come to work. Shannon got his extension. They happy for Shannon, but working with Stephen A is unbearable. I don't know how true it is. That's rumors, but I can see that,
right?
Because this guy
he
thinks
hasn't
that
yet signed that contract either.
It's like $7 million on the table or something like that. More a year, something.
The last time we understood it was about $90 million in total that ESPN they were negotiating around a $90 million long-term deal. But go ahead, Power 96.
They will give him that type of money long as he's dehumanizing and demeaning black male athletes. Long as he will come in that room and sit there, and football season is coming up, and football players are easy targets for him because a lot of them don't do interviews with him, and if you remember Terrell Owens when he was on that show, and he told Stephen A that Max was blacker than he was. T.O. ain't been back on that show since then. So, and that was a true conversation. I watched it live because T.O. was like Stephen A. Kick rocks, bro. And he tried to play Terrell like Terrell. Terrell Owens, he don't take nothing from nobody. So Stephen A. He tried that crap with him, and he told him like, "Hey, Max is blacker than you." And I said, "Oh, I said he got to be." And I believe that's why he got Max off the show, if you ask me. So
he got Max.
I think Shannon Sharpe was the only. Yeah, I think Shannon Sharpe was the only one that wanted to work with him.
Yeah, and the problem I have with Shannon Sharpe is it's fine. Okay, Stephen A. put you on, but that doesn't mean that you have to carry his water all the time. That doesn't mean that you have to bend over for this guy constantly. And try and back his play all the time.
I think he's afraid of him when it comes to not like physically, but I'm talking about show.
I think he's afraid of the power he has there at ESPN. Yeah,
that's what I'm talking. That's what I mean. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I believe that it's gone to his head because if you think about it, ESPN is not really the ESPN of the 80s and 90s. You can go anywhere back especially in the 90s and watch ESPN 24/7. The odds of you doing that now of watching ESPN unless something comes on that you want to see, it's very slim to none. I'm like,
right.
I'm like, what happened? And Stephen A. feels like his show, for some reason, #1 rated this, that, and that. I'm like, bro, I don't know anybody that even watched that show. I don't. So I mean, I catch a lot of.
I don't.
Because I told him, I'm like, no, nobody want to sit there and hear you yell for 2 hours about stuff that you don't know about, and that's absurd. Man, I'm like, man, nobody care about that stuff, man. But but he picks on black athletes, thinking that they will give him a pass and won't say nothing. But he gonna mess with the wrong one now. I watched your guy Charles Oakley. They asked him about Barkley retiring. His response was crazy. Like he needed to go. Somebody would have knocked him in his fat ass mouth. I said, "Whoa!" The way he talked about players. So those players know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oakley is no small guy still to this day. So, and I don't believe Charles Barkley is gonna say anything to Oakley. So Stephen A. I'm waiting on one of those athletes to give Stephen A. his moment, and it's gonna come pretty soon.
It's gonna
come. I think it's gonna be one of these football players. I watch what I'm saying because he's been on a tangent of destroying black male athletes, and he's been getting a pass. The last time he talked about Will Smith. If you went on his social media page, every black person on there was like, nah, we're good over here. You the one need to go. So I was like, oh, okay. I said, all right, buddy. I said, you running into the Will Smith crowd now. You know, he just tried. He goes from person to person to try to harass somebody. And like I say, when you get your moment, man,
Yeah.
because, you know, I think what Stephen A. 56, you ain't 20-something, bro. One of these 20-something-year-old athletes hit you. I'm not saying they should, but if something like that happened, I won't be surprised. I'll put it like that. So that's my take on that dude. So
Yeah. So, and finally, LeBron James believes that his son is unfazed by outside noise following his summer league debut. He said that Bronny, who the Lakers selected number 55 overall, doesn't care about any of the noise at all. There are folks, Power 96, who says, "Oh, the Lakers," and it's what I believe is 100% true. The Lakers drafted him only to keep LeBron. But my problem is, why do you have a problem? Why do people have a problem with the fact that the Lakers decided to draft this man's son? Simply, don't you think LeBron? And I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, but the man has earned that.
yeah, and I'll say this. I never thought I would ever see another father-son duo after Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr.
Yep.
A great duo. Now, if it's a problem that LeBron stayed in and got his son drafted, shouldn't we have a problem with just about everybody in corporate America that brings their son and daughter on into the company? You see what I'm saying? If your son or daughter can come work for you at a bank or whatever, what's the difference of LeBron and his son coming to play basketball together? I wish him nothing but success. Like I told him, I ain't hating on him. I wish that me and my child could have played a sport together.
Yeah. It's good for the league. Listen, you mentioned Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr., and that was tremendous. And, you know, a couple of big memories for them. One, of course, they both homered in the same game. I believe it was the same inning that they both homered in. And, of course, the only father-son duo to ever do that. And one of the best moments, I think, Griffey Jr. playing center field, his dad playing left field, fly ball to left center. His father camps under it, and Jr. runs over and snatches it from him. You know, it was just one of those things. It was just beautiful for the game. And of course, Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greatest to ever put on the cleats and go out on the baseball field, period. And Ken Griffey Jr. Sr. was a world champion himself with the Big Red Machine. So this thing with LeBron and Bronny, look, will the Lakers win a championship because of it? Maybe, probably not.
Probably
but
not.
That's not the point.
But to me, you know, people always say, "Where's the black father? Why the black father ain't this now?" Now you have a black father that's brought his son into the NBA. Now it's nepotism. Now it's favoritism in the world besides congratulations. That's the only thing I said I was gonna say about them folks. Congratulations. I'm glad to see it being done. Now, I'm a Celtics fan. Now, you think I'm gonna root for the Lakers? Hell no. Now, come on now, man. Now, do I like to see it? Am I gonna stand up if I see LeBron throw an alley-oop to his son or vice versa? Hell yeah. But for us them winning against the Celtics, no. But when the public is so funny and so critical of black men, even when we do everything right, I's dotted, T's crossed, there's still this but or this will. Or if it wasn't for this could. How about you get your damn son and you go out, you take your 40-year-old behind and go out there and try to play with some 18-year-olds. You see what I'm saying? It ain't gonna happen. So please, man. I think some people just took that too far. And the kid don't deserve that type of. Look, we all seen Michael Jordan's son. He didn't even go to North Carolina. He went to Marquette. Didn't want to follow in in them footsteps. It was too tough for him. Entertainment is one thing, but these people expect you to duplicate what your that talent before you did. Nah, man. And
Right.
and you know that guy, he really I don't know which Jordan, what his name was, but he really didn't stay in the basketball world long at all. Like hell with this, I'm going. I can live off Jumpman money. so but good luck to LeBron and Bronny James. Hey,
Yeah.
I just can't understand the hate. But I guarantee you, when the CEO of Chase Bank brings his son, now he's the head of the loan department. Oh, you gonna give him a good handshake, wouldn't you? So hell with him, man. Score 100 points each now. How about that?
Well, how about that? 596 is always a thrill, man. We appreciate you so much. This man supports the black press. He supports black media. He supports black folks, particularly when they're on the right side of the issue. And we
I'm
really
about to say,
appreciate that
only
about
the
you.
good black people. Only the good black people.
Right.
I'm not
Only good
supporting.
ones.
I'm not supporting Uncle Tim, Byron Butter Biscuit Daniels, that Owens person. Not them. Them others. They're not them people. Now, so don't. No. I wouldn't buy Girl Scout cookies from that Owens person. No, man. No.
There you have it. There you have it. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for dropping by today. Thanks a lot.
Always, brother. Anytime. All right.
All right.